Ron's ship crashed on a strange planet far from Earth. The sky was a soft shade of violet, and the air smelled fresh but unlike anything he had known before. The ground beneath him was covered in tall grass that swayed gently in the cool breeze. Ron sat up slowly, feeling pain in his leg. He looked around, trying to understand where he was. The ship was badly damaged. Pieces of metal and wires were scattered everywhere. Ron knew he had to find help quickly. As he stood up, he noticed movement in the distance. A group of figures was walking toward him. They were unlike anything Ron had seen. Their skin was a rich teal blue color, smooth and shining softly in the daylight. Their eyes were bright and curious. Ron felt both fear and hope. He tried to stay calm and show he meant no harm. The group approached slowly. The leader was a tall woman with long white hair braided carefully. She wore simple but strong clothing made from natural materials. Her posture showed both strength and grace. Ron noticed how her chest and stance gave her an air of authority. And calm. The woman stopped a few steps away. She studied Ron carefully. Her eyes showed interest but also caution. Ron spoke in a soft voice. "I'm Ron. My ship crashed here. I need help." The woman nodded slowly. She turned to her group and spoke in a language Ron did not understand. The others nodded back. The leader then looked at Ron again and said a few words in a clear tone. Ron listened carefully and tried to repeat the sounds. To his surprise, she smiled slightly. "You will come with us," she said. Ron followed the group through the tall grass. The landscape changed as they moved. The planet had large trees with thick branches, and strange flowers in many colors. Birds with bright feathers flew overhead. The air smelled sweet, and the sounds of nature were everywhere. After some time, they reached a village hidden among the trees. The homes were built with strong wood and covered in leaves. The village looked peaceful and organized. The alien women moved with purpose, but also with kindness. They helped Ron sit down on a soft mat outside one of the homes. The leader, whose name Ron learned was Mira, brought him water in a small cup. "You are hurt," she said quietly. Ron touched his leg and nodded. Mira looked concerned but said nothing more. She called one of the younger women to help. The young woman carefully cleaned Ron's wound and wrapped it with soft cloth. Ron felt grateful. Despite the difference in their worlds, these alien women were showing kindness. He wanted to understand more about them. Mira sat next to him, watching closely. "Why are you here?" she asked in simple words. Ron took a deep breath. "I come from Earth. I did not want to crash here. I want to go back, but I do not know how." Mira listened and nodded. "You will stay with us until you can travel again," she said. Days passed. Ron learned the tribe's ways slowly. They spoke softly and moved with care. Every action seemed to have meaning. The women gathered food, made tools, and cared for each other. Ron helped where he could, though his human ways were often different. One morning, Ron watched the tribe train. The women practiced with long staffs and moved like dancers, but with power. Mira's posture was perfect, showing both authority and beauty. Ron realized these women were strong, not just in body, but in spirit. Mira came to him. "You want to learn?" she asked. Ron nodded eagerly. She taught him how to hold the staff, how to balance and move with control. Ron was clumsy at first, but Mira's patience helped him improve. At night, Ron sat by the fire with the tribe. They shared stories of their past, of battles and peace, of loss and hope. Ron told them about Earth, about his family and dreams. Mira listened with quiet respect. Slowly, a connection grew between Ron and the tribe. But not everyone was happy. Some women watched Ron with suspicion. They whispered that he might bring danger. Ron felt their eyes and wondered if he could ever truly belong. One evening, Mira spoke to Ron privately. "The tribe does not know if they can trust you fully," she said. "You must prove your heart is true. Stay with us, learn our ways, show you care for this world and our people." Ron promised. He knew the road ahead would be hard, but he also felt something he had not felt before, a place where he might belong. As the night deepened, Ron looked at the stars. They were different here, but beautiful. He thought about his journey. The planet was strange and new. but it held hope with Mira and the tribe. He had found more than shelter. He had found a chance to be part of something greater. The future was uncertain, but Ron was ready. He would become part of this world, not just as a guest but as a friend and protector. The tribe had taken him in, and he would not let them down. Ron woke up to the soft light of morning. The village was quiet except for the gentle sounds of birds and the rustling of leaves. Mira was already awake and waiting outside his shelter. Her posture was strong and calm, showing both authority and care. Her rich teal blue skin looked even more beautiful in the soft daylight. Ron felt nervous, but ready for the day. Mira smiled and nodded at him. Today, you will learn more about our ways, she said simply. Ron stood up and followed her. The other women in the tribe were gathering in a clearing near the trees. Ron noticed how they moved like a single group, each step full of purpose. Their bodies were strong, and their eyes were focused. Mira led Ron to the center of the clearing. We train not only to fight but to protect, she explained. Our strength comes from balance and respect. She handed Ron a wooden staff. It was lighter than he expected, but felt steady in his hands. The women began moving slowly, showing different techniques. Ron tried to copy their movements. At first, he stumbled, but Mira stayed close, correcting his stance and helping him find balance. Her chest was lifted with pride, and her calm voice made him feel safe. Hours passed as Ron practiced. He could feel his muscles grow tired, but also stronger. Mira encouraged him gently. Good. Keep your mind clear. Your body will follow. Ron nodded, trying to focus on her words. After training, the tribe gathered to eat. The food was different, but delicious. Fresh fruits with sweet juices, roots cooked over fire, and water from clear streams. Ron felt grateful to share this moment. He saw how the women talked quietly, their faces relaxed and kind. Mira sat next to Ron. You learn quickly, she said. The tribe watches you. They see your effort. Ron smiled, feeling a little proud but also aware of the weight of their expectations. As the day moved on, Ron was invited to join a ceremony. The women gathered around a large tree, its branches spreading wide above them. They sang softly, voices blending in harmony with the sounds of the forest. Ron watched, feeling the power of the moment. Mira came to him and whispered, This is how we honor our home and our past. Ron closed his eyes, listening to the song. It was beautiful and full of meaning. He felt a deep connection to this strange world and its people. Later, Mira took Ron to a quiet place near a river. The water was clear and cold. She looked at him. Seriously, you must understand. The tribe protects this land. We do not allow outsiders to harm it. You must show that you respect our home. Ron nodded. I do respect it. I want to learn everything. Mira's eyes softened. Then you must live by our rules. You must be part of us, not separate. Ron understood. This was more than just survival. It was about trust and belonging. Days turned into weeks. Ron's body grew stronger, and his mind clearer. He learned to move like the women, to listen to the forest, and to care for the tribe's needs. He helped gather food and water, and he joined in their training. Mira was always near, guiding him with patience and kindness. One evening, as the sun set behind the hills, Ron sat beside Mira by the fire. The tribe was quiet, resting after a long day. Mira looked at him with a gentle smile. You have changed, she said. You are not the same man who crashed here. Ron smiled back. I feel different. I feel like I belong. Mira reached out and touched his hand. The touch was soft but full of meaning. Ron's heart beat faster. He realized how much he cared for her and the tribe. But not all were happy with Ron's place. Some women still whispered when they thought no one was listening. Ron heard the doubt in their voices. He wanted to prove himself, but he did not know how. One night, Mira came to him with a serious look. There's danger coming, she said. A group from outside this world is near. They do not respect our land. We must prepare. Ron felt a chill. He wanted to protect the tribe, the place he now called home. What can I do? He asked. Mira's eyes were steady. Train harder. Learn our ways fully. You will need your strength and your heart. The days that followed were hard. Ron pushed himself to his limits. He learned new skills, fought with the tribe, and grew closer to Mira. Their bond became stronger, built on trust and respect. One afternoon, while practicing near the edge of the forest, Ron saw a strange ship in the sky. It was large and dark, moving fast. He knew the outsiders had arrived. He ran to the village, shouting a warning. The tribe gathered quickly, their faces serious and ready. Mira stood before them, calm and strong. "We will protect our home," she said. Together, Ron looked around at the faces of the women who had become his family. He felt courage rising inside him. He was no longer a stranger or a guest. He was a part of this tribe, and he would fight for them. As the sun began to set, casting long shadows over the land, Ron and the tribe prepared for what was coming. The bond between them was strong, built on respect, trust, and something deeper. Ron held his staff tightly, feeling Mira's presence beside him. The future was uncertain, but he was ready to face it. He was no longer alone. The story was just beginning. Ron woke early, his mind filled with the weight of the coming challenge. Mira stood outside the shelter, her posture calm but alert. The rich teal-blue skin of the young alien woman shimmered softly. In the morning light, she had a soft, natural beauty that made Ron feel both safe and inspired. Her chest was lifted proudly, her presence full of authority and quiet strength. "Today, we prepare," Mira said. Her voice was steady, without fear or hesitation. Ron nodded, feeling the seriousness of her words. This was not just training anymore. It was a test of everything he had learned and everything he had become since arriving in the tribe. They walked together toward the clearing where the tribe gathered. The women moved like a single unit, their eyes sharp and bodies ready. Ron felt his heart beat faster, but he pushed down the nervousness. He was here with them, not just as a guest, but as one who would fight beside them. Mira began the morning with simple instructions. Trust your instincts. Trust your training. She handed Ron a curved blade made from a rare metal found in their land. It was lighter than anything he had ever held, but felt balanced and strong in his hands. Ron watched as the women demonstrated their combat skills. They moved with precision and grace, their strikes powerful but controlled. Mira's eyes never left Ron, silently encouraging him to match their pace. He started slowly, cutting through the air with the blade, trying to remember every lesson Mira had taught him. She corrected his stance and showed him how to use his weight to increase power. Her hands were firm but kind. Ron admired her confidence and skill. Hours passed in practice. Ron's muscles ached, but his focus never wavered. He was learning not just to fight, but to protect. Mira's words echoed in his mind. Strength is not just in the body, but in the heart. As the sun climbed higher, a messenger arrived from the edge of the forest. The tribe's elders gathered quickly, their faces serious. Mira motioned for Ron to stay close. The news was grave. The outsiders had come closer than expected. Their ships were preparing to enter the valley. Ron felt a cold wave of fear, but Mira's calm steadied him. "We have no time to waste," she said. "Prepare for defense." The tribe moved swiftly. Women took their positions along the paths and high ground. Ron helped carry supplies and set traps that Mira had designed. He saw how every woman worked, with determination, their loyalty to the land clear in their eyes. That evening, Ron and Mira met at the river. The water flowed quietly beneath the stars, reflecting the vast sky above. Mira looked at Ron with a mixture of concern and hope. "You have done well," she said softly, "but the true test comes now." Ron met her gaze. "I will stand with you, with the tribe." Mira's hand brushed his arm lightly. "We fight not just for ourselves, but for the future, for those who come after us." Days passed in preparation. The tribe's unity grew stronger. Ron found himself thinking less about his old life and more about the people who had accepted him. Mira was always near, teaching him new skills, sharing stories of the tribe's history, and showing him the beauty of their land. One morning, Ron woke to the sound of distant engines. The outsiders had arrived. Ships dark and large appeared on the horizon. moving steadily toward the valley. The tribe gathered on the high cliffs overlooking the plain. Mira stood at the front, her posture commanding and fearless. Ron stood beside her, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. The outsiders landed and began to move toward the tribe's land, but the women were ready. Using their knowledge of the terrain and clever tactics, they slowed the invaders. Ron fought alongside them, his blade flashing in the sunlight. During the battle, Ron noticed Mira moving through the fighters like a force of nature. Her chest lifted high, her every movement full of power and grace. She was not just a leader, but a symbol of hope for the tribe. At one point, Ron found himself cornered. Two outsiders approached. Weapons raised, he fought with all his strength, remembering Mira's lessons. With a swift move, he disarmed one and blocked the other's attack. Mira appeared beside him, her presence a shield. Together, they pushed back the enemies. Ron felt a surge of pride and relief. They were not alone. As the fight wore on, the outsiders realized the tribe would not be easily defeated. Their forces began to retreat. The valley grew silent again, except for the sounds of the tribe regrouping. After the battle, Ron and Mira stood on a hill overlooking the land. The stars were bright, the air cool and fresh. "You fought well," Mira said. "You belong here." Ron looked at her and smiled. "Because of you, because of all of you." Mira's eyes softened. "We protect what we love. You have learned that well." Ron felt a deep connection to this alien world. He was no longer just a visitor or a prisoner. He was part of something bigger, something that gave his life new meaning. The story of Ron and Mira, of the tribe and the valley, was far from over. But tonight, they shared a moment of peace and hope, ready to face whatever the future held together. Ron woke to the soft sound of wind moving through the tall trees. The morning light was gentle and warm. He opened his eyes and saw Mira standing near the edge of the camp. Looking out at the distant hills, her rich teal blue skin looked even more striking in the early light. She had a soft, natural beauty that seemed calm and strong at the same time. Her chest was held high, her posture showing both authority and quiet confidence. Ron sat up and stretched. Yesterday's battle had been difficult, but the tribe's courage had made all the difference. He felt proud to be part of this group, to stand with these women who fought not just with strength, but with heart. Mira turned and smiled softly at him. That smile made him feel calm inside, like everything was going to be okay. "Are you ready for today?" she asked. Her voice was steady, full of calm energy. Ron nodded. "I want to help. I want to learn more." Mira's eyes shone with approval. "Good. Today, we prepare for what comes next. The outsiders may return, stronger and better prepared." They moved together toward the center of the camp. The women were already busy, sharpening weapons, checking supplies, and planning their next steps. The air was filled with a quiet sense of purpose. Ron felt the energy in the group. Everyone knew the importance of being ready. Mira gathered the tribe's leaders and explained the plan. "We cannot let the outsiders take our land. We must protect our home with everything we have." Her voice was firm and clear. The women nodded in agreement, their faces serious but determined. Ron listened closely. He saw how Mira's words gave strength to the tribe. Her presence was powerful, even though she was young. She carried the weight of leadership with grace. Ron wanted to be like her, strong, calm, and sure. After the meeting, Mira took Ron aside. "You must learn to move quietly and quickly," she said. "The forest is our ally. If we use it well, we can surprise our enemies." She led him into the trees. The forest was deep and full of life. Birds sang softly, and the leaves rustled in the breeze. Mira showed Ron how to step carefully on the soft earth, how to listen to the sounds around him, and how to watch for any sign of danger. Ron was surprised by how different the forest felt when he moved with care. He felt connected to the world in a new way. Mira's guidance helped him focus. He realized that strength was not just about fighting, but about understanding and respecting the land. As they walked deeper into the forest, Mira stopped beside a large tree. "We set traps here," she explained. They will slow the outsiders and give us time to prepare. Ron helped her place small, hidden devices along the path. They worked together silently, their movements smooth and sure. Mira's posture showed her authority and confidence. Ron admired how she balanced power with kindness. After setting the traps, they returned to camp. The day passed with more training and preparation. Ron practiced using the curved blade Mira had given him. His muscles ached, but he was determined to improve. Mira watched and corrected his form, always patient and encouraging. In the evening, the tribe gathered around a fire. The flames cast long shadows on their faces. Mira stood before them and spoke of hope and courage. She reminded them of their strength as a community and the importance of protecting their home. Ron looked around the circle. He saw faces full of trust and determination. He felt a deep bond with these people, especially with Mira. She had become more than a leader to him. She was a symbol of everything he wanted to become. As the fire crackled, Ron felt a new sense of purpose. He was no longer just a stranger or guest. He was part of the tribe, and together, they would face whatever challenges lay ahead. Night fell quietly. Ron lay on his bedroll and thought about the future. He knew the coming days would test them all, but with Mira and the tribe by his side, he was ready to face anything. The stars shone brightly overhead, a reminder of the vast universe and the small but important place they held within it. Ron closed his eyes, feeling peace and hope for the first time in a long while. The morning sun climbed higher, casting warm light over the quiet valley. Ron woke feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. Today was the day of the tribe's biggest test yet. The outsiders would come again, and this time the tribe had to be ready to defend their home with all their strength and skill. Mira stood near the edge of the camp, her rich teal blue skin glowing softly in the sunlight. She had a soft, natural beauty that seemed calm but full of power. Her posture was tall and steady. Her chest lifted in a way that showed both authority and quiet grace. She looked at Ron and smiled. "Are you ready?" she asked gently. Ron nodded. "I want to do my best. I want to help the tribe." Mira's eyes shone with approval. "Then you must trust yourself and trust us. We will stand together." The tribe moved quickly to their positions. Women took their places along the forest's edge and the hills above the valley. They were silent but focused, their faces set with determination. Ron felt the energy around him grow stronger. This was not just about fighting. It was about protecting everything they loved. Mira came to stand beside him. "Remember what we practice: move with the land, use the traps, watch each other's backs." Ron held his blade tightly, feeling its weight steady in his hand. His heart beat faster, but he tried to stay calm. The quiet moments before the battle felt heavy with meaning. This was more than just a fight. It was a test of their unity and spirit. Suddenly, the sound of engines echoed through the valley. Dark ships appeared on the horizon, moving steadily closer. The outsiders had returned. Ron could see their figures moving down from the ships, armed and ready. The tribe was ready. Women moved silently through the forest, using the traps they had set. The outsiders stumbled, slowed by hidden snares and unexpected obstacles. Ron fought alongside Mira and the others, feeling the rush of battle. His blade flashed as he worked to protect his new home. Mira moved with skill and confidence. Her posture showed no fear. She was both leader and warrior, guiding the tribe through the fight. Ron admired her strength and grace. She was like a force of nature, calm but unstoppable. As the battle continued, Ron found himself face to face with one of the outsiders. The man was large and strong, but Ron remembered Mira's lessons. He dodged quickly, using the land to his advantage. With a swift move, Ron disarmed the man and pushed him back. Mira appeared beside him, her eyes sharp and focused. Together, they fought with a rhythm born of trust and training. Ron felt a deep connection with Mira and the tribe. They were more than just allies. They were family. The outsiders began to retreat, realizing the tribe would not give up their land easily. The valley grew quiet again, the sounds of battle fading. Ron and Mira stood together, watching the ships leave. "We did it," Ron said, breathless but proud. Mira smiled softly. Today we showed our strength, but the future will bring new challenges. We must stay ready. The tribe gathered around the fire that night. Faces were tired but full of pride. Mira spoke of hope and courage, reminding them of their unity and the importance of their land. Ron looked at Mira. She had become his guide, his friend, and something more. Her rich teal blue skin and soft, natural beauty shone even in the firelight. Her chest was lifted with quiet authority, and her presence gave him strength. As the stars twinkled above, Ron felt a new sense of belonging. He was no longer a stranger or a guest. He was part of the tribe, part of their story, and together they would face whatever the future held. The night was peaceful, but Ron knew their journey was just beginning. The bond he shared with Mira and the tribe had grown stronger, and he was ready to protect the home he now loved. The days after the battle passed with a strange calm. The tribe was busy repairing their homes and caring for the wounded. The forest seemed peaceful once again, but Ron knew that danger still waited beyond the hills. The outsiders might return. Stronger and more prepared, Ron woke early one morning. The cool air smelled of pine and earth. He looked toward the sky, where the sun was just beginning to rise. Mira was already awake, standing near the edge of the camp. Her rich teal blue skin looked soft in the morning light. She had a soft, natural beauty that drew Ron's eyes again and again. Her posture was steady, her chest held high, showing both authority and a gentle strength. "Good morning," Mira said, turning to him with a small smile. "Good morning," Ron replied. He felt a new courage in his voice, like he was becoming part of something bigger. Mira walked beside him as they moved through the camp. The women were preparing for a journey. Mira explained that they needed to visit a neighboring tribe. They hoped to form an alliance. If more tribes joined together, their chances against the outsiders would be stronger. Ron listened carefully. This was a new challenge, different from the battles they had fought. It would require trust, patience, and respect for others. The group prepared for the journey. They packed light but carried what they needed to survive in the wild. Mira led the way with confidence. Her posture showed she was a leader who earned respect, not just by words but by her actions. As they traveled through the forest, Ron saw more of the land and learned its secrets. Mira taught him which plants were safe to eat and how to read the signs of animals nearby. He admired her knowledge and the way she moved with the world around her. One evening, as they rested by a stream, Mira sat beside Ron. The water reflected the moonlight, making the night seem magical. "You have grown strong," Mira said softly. "But there is more to learn. Leadership is not just about strength. It is about understanding others and showing kindness even in hard times." Ron looked at her, feeling the truth in her words. He wanted to be someone she could trust and rely on, not just a fighter, but a true friend and protector. The next day, the group reached the neighboring tribe. The women there were different, but their faces showed the same courage and pride. Mira spoke with their leader, and Ron watched as the two women exchanged ideas and plans. It was clear that respect and trust were being built between them. Ron helped set up camp. Sharing stories with the others, he realized that even though they came from different places, they shared the same hope for peace and safety. As the days passed, Ron felt closer to Mira and the tribe. He understood more about their ways, their hopes, and their fears. He saw how Mira's leadership inspired others, how she balanced strength with care. One morning, Mira took Ron aside. "Tomorrow, we return to our home," she said. "But the journey has changed us. We are stronger together." Ron nodded, feeling proud and ready. He had become more than a guest. He was a part of the tribe's future. That night, under the stars, Ron and Mira sat quietly. The bond between them had deepened. He knew challenges would come again, but he also knew they would face them as one. The forest around them was calm and full of life. Ron felt a quiet hope, together with Mira and the tribe. He believed they could protect their world and build a new future. The journey was not over. It had only just begun. The first light of dawn stretched softly across the valley as Ron and Mira began their journey home. The sky was clear, and the air smelled fresh with the scent of wildflowers and damp earth. The peace of the morning was a sharp contrast to the tension that Ron felt deep inside. He knew the outsiders would not stop. Their threat was real, and the tribe's future depended on what they did next. Mira walked beside him, her rich teal blue skin glowing with a soft, natural beauty. Her posture was tall and confident, her chest held with quiet authority and grace. She moved like the leader she was, calm and sure, even in the face of uncertainty. "We cannot wait for the outsiders to return," Mira said quietly. "We must be ready to protect our home, our people, and everything we hold dear." Ron nodded. "We have strength now, but it feels like a moment before a storm." Mira looked at him with eyes full of determination. "Then we will stand together and face the storm. You are no longer a stranger here, Ron. You are one of us." Her words gave Ron a sense of belonging he had never known before. He felt the weight of his responsibility, but also the strength of the tribe behind him. As they approached their valley, they saw the tribe gathered on the hills overlooking their home. The leaders from the neighboring tribes had arrived, ready to stand with them. The sight was powerful. Many faces, different but united by the same goal to protect their land. Mira stepped forward and raised her voice so all could hear. "Together, we are strong. Together, we will keep our home safe. We will not let fear rule us." Cheers rose from the crowd, voices full of hope and courage. Ron felt a wave of pride. This was what he had fought for, a future built on trust, unity, and respect. Over the following days, the tribes worked side by side. They built defenses, shared skills, and learned from one another. Ron found himself teaching the others some of the strategies he had learned from Mira and the tribe. He saw the respect growing between the different groups. This was more than survival. It was a new beginning. One evening, Mira and Ron stood on a hill watching the sunset. The sky was painted with soft reds and oranges, the colors reflecting in Mira's rich teal blue skin. She looked at Ron with a gentle smile. "You have changed, Ron, not just in skill, but in heart." Ron smiled back. "I have learned from the best." They stood quietly, the world around them calm and beautiful. But both knew the peace was fragile. The outsiders' ships would come again. The question was when. Suddenly, a sharp sound cut through the evening air, a warning signal from the tribe below. The outsiders were returning, their ship's dark shapes against the twilight sky. Mira's posture straightened. Her chest lifted with quiet strength and authority. "This is the moment we prepared for." The tribes moved quickly to their positions. Ron felt a calm determination. The training, the alliances, the hard work, it was all leading to this. The battle was fierce. The outsiders fought with advanced weapons, but the tribes knew the land. They used every skill and trick to defend their home. Ron fought beside Mira, their movements in perfect sync. Her soft, natural beauty showed no fear, only fierce resolve. As the fight wore on, it became clear that the outsiders were not prepared for the unity of the tribes. The attackers began to retreat, their ships lifting off with a final roar. Cheers erupted among the defenders. They had won, but Ron knew this was not the end. The tribes would have to stay vigilant, ready to protect what they loved. After the battle, Mira turned to Ron. "You have become a true part of us. Your courage, your heart, it has made us stronger." Ron looked at her, his own chest rising with pride and gratitude. "I could not have done this without you, Mira." She smiled softly,